made about 10 or 15 years ago. And it was about a
Is
guy
that a
who wakes
Michael
up.
Moore movie?
No,
No.
I've forgotten his name. Who's in it? Anyway, it's it's a badly made C grade movie. But the idea behind it is clever. In 500 years' time, a guy wakes up from hibernation, and the world is in complete disrepair, and everyone's mad. Everyone's gone stupid because they've just had it so easy for so long, and the rubbish is everywhere. They have no idea how to clean things. They don't know how to use language properly. Everything is stuffed. And I was reminded of that movie when I saw an article about CO2 machines in filtration machines in Iceland. It's the country in the world with the biggest load of CO2 filtration machines. They filter CO2 from the atmosphere, and every country should follow them. Mate,
I got a simpler idea.
trees.
I was about to say.
Yeah, go on. What's your idea?
I was going to say, how about trees?
Trees. And I feel
It's like sometimes people look for the most complex solution to the simplest of challenges. It's like we know a group of people at the moment who are staring down the barrel of a very expensive air conditioning repair, and you and I looked at each other and went, why don't you just put a couple of splitties there, and that'll solve your problem, and you'll save at least half the money.
Yeah.
We
overthink the solution.
People overthink things.
And yet we're still, at the moment, ripping out of the world's forests a football ground every minute. No, I think it's every second.
Mind you, these CO2 filtration units, like what sort of footprint do they have, and how many trees could you plant in that same area, and would those trees filter the same amount of CO2? But then my question is, how are these CO2 filtration units powered so as to not produce their own CO2? Like,
you would hope that they would have wind farms to power the CO2 filtration
It's the old perpetual
units.
motion problem that eventually you soak up that much energy.
What is
that
wrong
it just
with
can't
people?
Keep
Trees
What's wrong with people? Rabbi
Trees,
Pesach, we've got about 3 minutes left of our show, and now you ask what is wrong with people.
Trees are a carbon sink. They release oxygen. I mean, these CO2 filtration machines, they don't release oxygen.
Do you know what Well, yeah. Hold on.
What?
How do they not release oxygen?
They just capture the CO2 and they put them...
And store CO2.
And store CO2, like they put them down into the earth or whatever.
That's dumb.
Yeah, well, they
because
can't...
you've got to at least the tree separates the C from the O2.
The O2, that's right. So I just don't understand what's wrong with people and why they're not thinking much more simply.
Because trees.
So that was you, Harry, calling out BS when he sees BS. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad we got that one over and done with.
I think we're reaching the end of the program.
I think we are. We've got a couple of minutes to go.
There's nothing else on my list.